Many authors draw from a myriad of past life experiences to breathe life into their work. Not only does it help the writer make stories seem more realistic, but it also allows for a reflection of one's personal history, work through hardships, and fondly remember incredible memories.
Yeah, and you know, they don't always have to be true stories. Sometimes sprinkling the true details into fictional tales can make putting together a storyline so much more rewarding. With us this afternoon, this is Jim Perry. Next to Jim is his granddaughter, Olivia Green. Jim, who is this with you?
This is Toby.
This is Toby.
This is Toby. Yes.
So we've got the entire crew here today.
We've got everybody that matters so far.
Want to talk about your book and some other things. Tell us a little bit about you. Give us your background.
Me, nothing remarkable. Grew up in Bishop's Head. Moved to Delaware for a short time, spent my junior high and high school years in Cambridge.
Yeah.
Living in Church Creek, actually, where the book takes place. The locations are real.
Okay.
Graduated from Cambridge High School, spent 21 years in the Army, came back to the Delmarva Peninsula. This is where I like it.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
I'd do it again if I could, believe me.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time getting to the mailbox now, so anything else is out.
Here comes the
But
time.
that's it. It's nothing particularly remarkable. Just a regular guy with a, you know, the church I go to. We learn that the Bible says to live an abundant life, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Grandkids, keeping us busy, having fun, and anything else I can get into within the law. So that's what I do.
Well, your first book is called Growing Up Jimmy.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
That was inspired by my grandkids, partially. One grandchild wouldn't go outside and play because he didn't have a trampoline, he didn't have a sliding board. I didn't have anything except an imagination growing up, and that's pretty much truth. I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
The other was her older sister, she's 12, Allie. She likes hearing my stories from my time in the Army. We call them war stories, escapades that are, as the book says, mostly true accounts of how I got here. It's only because I have a fuzzy memory. So I put all that together along with my little bit of family history, so that down the road, when I'm no longer around, they'll know who I was, how I got here, share some of the stories that I hope they don't try themselves.
Yeah, right.
And it just turned into a book.
And that was your first book.
That was the first book.
Tell us about your second book.
Second book, years ago, you may be familiar with it. Years ago, I learned about an event called the Philadelphia Experiment, where the Department of Defense tried to make a ship invisible to radar for the war effort. Believe it or not, it's up to you. You can find all kinds of accounts. It didn't go well. Witnesses said the ship disappeared in a green, excuse me, a green haze, reappeared in Norfolk, and then came back, and unfortunately some of the sailors were either dead, fused into the ship, or they went mad. I've always fascinated with that, and always thought there'd be another story there, so I took that, scaled it down to a smaller scale with a bad guy who stole the technology from the Defense Department, but he's in a ship off Bloodsworth Island doing his little thing. The soldier in the story, who looks a lot like me.
Amazingly.
Yeah, I have to write what I know. So I had to keep going back and forth to the mirror. He gets swept up into this. He loses his parents. There's the grief and the tragedy because of this guy.
Right.
He leaves a girl behind in Germany. There's some loss there. You don't know if he'll ever see her again. But the story revolves around the scaled down Philadelphia Experiment, but also the relationships of these people who are suffering through joy, grief, new relationships. So there's a couple things going on there at the same time, which ironically enough, having lost my wife about a year ago, I read the book myself after I got it done and discovered that I think what I had accidentally or subconsciously done was create a metaphor for my own life with when your rug gets pulled out from under you, just when you're getting somewhere, and then stuff happens. But then your family, your friends come to the rescue, they support you, they hold you up, and there's a lot of that in the book.
It's called Always Tomorrow. Now, Olivia, I understand that you have been inspired by your grandfather to write?
Yes.
What do you write?
Poetry, and I am starting on a little book.
Okay.
A little book? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That is okay. So, Jim, let me ask you real quick: are you thinking about writing a sequel?
It is underway.
Oh, already? Okay.
If you read this book, which I hope everybody does, it is open-ended. The sequel, I'm on chapter 3 already. Some of the characters are brought over. It goes more in depth onto some relationships. It goes more in depth on technology.
Right.
I've got textbooks on time travel and theory and stuff that I'm reading, and there also goes into some more UFO crashes. I'm putting all that together in the next book, which this one at 20,000 and some words. The next book I'm looking at probably between 60 and 80,000 words.
Oh.
Okay.
It's going to go really, this one dips its toes into science fiction. The next one goes neck deep into it, and we're taking off.
And it's called Always.
It's a blast.
Always
Oh, my
Tomorrow.
goodness.
Yeah,
First
that's
book
what
is
happens there.
Growing up, Jimmy. What advice would you give to young authors? Say, for example, Olivia.
First thing, if you're in school, pay attention, especially in English class. I had to do a lot of backtracking because I realized there was so much I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I had extra studying and finding tips and things, and wish that I had paid attention in school instead of reading Hot Rod magazine and drawing pictures of motorcycles. But really, learn that. Get into journalism. Learn a little bit about the writing industry.
Right.
But the biggest thing is do it. Just do
Just
it.
do it.
Do it. Don't. I've always said that someday when I'm about to take my last breath, I want to be able to say that I'm glad I did, as opposed to I wish I had. And that philosophy has driven me to do all kinds of wacky stuff. And, but it's fun.
And mostly legal.
Mostly legal as best I can. Yeah.
So, Olivia, you got that? Just do it.
Oh yeah, she's good.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Guys, you're the best. Thank you so much,
Thank
Jim.
you so much.
Thank
Olivia?
you. Appreciate
Toby?
Appreciate you guys.
Try to calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little wound up right
I
now.
think you
Yeah.
put him out. He's like-
Just vibrating in place. Guys, thank you so much.